Let me tell you something. The people who care too much about their goals, care too much about being liked, or just care too much in general are the ones who will never complete their goals, never have people accept them, or never really accomplish anything in general. Allow me to explain. Welcome to my channel. My name is Chris. Over the past 16 years, I have used drugs and alcohol to completely numb myself whenever it comes to anything that would involve decision making, stress, all types of stuff for that matter. Over the past year, I have been able to handle life unfiltered without feeling the need to turn to anything to numb myself. One of the most dangerous things that I did over and over again was caring too much about the outcome. There are 4 seemingly small things that we do which lead to failure in our goals, failure in our relationships, and overall failure in life. I'm going to share with you how I used to do them, how I have changed those actions, and how you can avoid wasting all the precious time that you have building the life that you want. Number 1 is needing to know every single freaking detail until you can start what you want to do. A prime example of this is when I wanted to start this YouTube channel. 3 years ago, I began looking at how to record, how to edit, but I had to know how to do it before I started. I tried to become the perfect content creator before actually creating any content. And let me tell you, it made perfect sense. I started to realize, hey, you might need to start doing something. Don't get me wrong, in those 3 years, I had those little blips of I would try it, but then I was so ashamed of whatever I did, I would just delete it. It would never reach the light of day. And then back into the lab for another year of planning. So as you can see, I grabbed my iPhone, I grabbed these soft boxes, I grabbed this microphone, and I just started going for it. And let me tell you, I've only made 4 videos, maybe 5. You can go look back at them, and just looking at how I'm talking now, even compared to the last video, is a world of difference. The reason is I'm putting that stuff out there, and I'm giving people the opportunity to give me feedback. Fear of that feedback ultimately was what was stopping me. Now I am embracing it, and as you can see, I'm learning in motion, and you can too. Number 2 kind of ties into number 1. It's just framed a little bit differently. It's overthinking. So before I ever even tried recording anything, well, can I really do this for the next 5 to 10 years? Because everybody says this isn't a quick grow business. Overthinking if I even had the resolve, if I even had the willpower to do this for a long period of time. Instead of just getting my ass in front of this camera, buckling down, accepting whatever happens, and starting this. Number 3, fear of wasted time, leading to our favorite excuse, paralysis by analysis. As I began to soak in all this information, thinking, oh man, I watched 3 hours of editing videos, I watched 6 hours of scripting, and then the first time I sat in front of a camera, I stared at it, I shit you not, for over 20 minutes and didn't even say a word. All that time sinking into the preparation, all that time figuring out how perfectly it's gonna work, just paralyzed with the amount of knowledge I had. But the amazing thing is, that stuff didn't have to go to waste. As I've begun to record, as I've actually begun to edit, as I've actually begun to use the things that I've learned, all of it's making sense. So if you've absorbed hundreds, thousands of hours of content, but actually haven't done anything with it, it doesn't have to go to waste. It starts coming together as soon as you start applying it to what you want to do, not just looking at it and hoping it grows. And the 4th and final mistake that we all make, and lie about it too, because I guarantee you we've done it more than once, is caring about what other people think. I used to say all the time, when I start posting, I'm not going to give a shit what nobody thinks. When I start posting, I don't care if there's any hate and comment. I'm not going to care to send it to my family and friends for them to look at it. Well, let me tell you something, folks. I didn't do any of that shit for 3 years because I cared how everybody would think about it. But the best part is, if you actually start taking that feedback constructively and you actually start looking at it from a point of improvement instead of taking it all personally, like, oh, woe is me, they hurt my feelings, they don't like my video. One of my friends said I sounded like a freaking Vagisil commercial the other day. Best advice he could have gave me. Because guess what? I'm not talking like some robotic AI Tesla piece of shit. I'm actually talking like myself now. So thank you, bestie out there. You know who you are. So not starting until you know every single detail, overthinking, fear of wasted time leading to paralysis by analysis, And caring way too much about what other people might think about your goals or projects or videos, whatever you're deciding to do, is absolutely killing any chances of you actually getting to success. As you heard in my part of the story, it involved a lot of action. But first, there was a major thing that I had to do before I took any action, and that was a perspective shift. The power of a perspective shift is literally life altering. Right now, you're living in this world that you think is reality, where this is going to be too hard, where everybody's going to judge you, and it's going to be one of the hardest things you ever did. But this is your reality. You have to shift your perception to reality. And the reality of the matter is, you're not going to be able to know anything until you do something. The reality of the matter is, nobody's really going to give a shit at the beginning, so why not just put yourself out there and get better? As you start to take a little bit of action, the next hurdle is being consistent. One of the biggest drive downs that I had doing this was thinking of them as failed attempts. What you should be thinking about is this really good analogy I heard from a Harvard professor. Think about them like takes. Takes that they do in movies. The little chopping block thing, take 1, take 2, take 3. I literally just did that while making this video. It took me 6 takes to get the intro right. Instead of seeing them as failures and getting frustrated and thinking, God, why can't I say the fucking intro? I thought, all right, take 5, take 6, take 7. And not running into that roadblock that usually would have stopped me, that negative attitude of failure after failure after failure, and seeing this as progression has helped me make it through the entire thing and will help me continue to make this sort of content and continue to build my YouTube channel. And the last and final thing that's as simple as it gets, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times, but man, if you really let this sink in, you don't just say it, you mean it. Failure is only when you stop. Because like I mentioned before, I might have spent literally hundreds of hours researching and not doing shit, but I didn't stop. And now, all of a sudden, these lessons are all coming together that I learned from those thousands of hours because I started taking action. So you don't have to let what you perceive as wasted time end up making you actually fail by stopping. If you enjoyed this video, I have a video about willpower. I have a video about how to start living your life a little bit more. Click on those, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks.